Good day, champions. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about setting healthy boundaries. Have you ever had a friend, partner, or sibling trying to manipulate or take advantage of you, call you names, or put you down? Are you also a people pleaser? Then stay till the end because we'll be discussing how to set boundaries to stop such behavior going forward. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Anox Andoh, and on this channel we discuss strategies and tools to intentionally live happier, more fulfilled lives. With that said, let's get started. Boundaries, like a protective fence or wall you have around your house, are commitments you make to yourself to empower and take care of yourself. Boundaries are about you and what you accept or tolerate from others in terms of acceptable behavior. The most basic boundary we all have and use every day are yes and no. Unfortunately, when we use these boundaries, sometimes people get upset with us because they don't get the response they want, leading to the expression of negative words and emotions we would prefer to avoid. But not setting boundaries leads to overwhelm, indecision, stress, and lack of confidence, while the benefits of setting and enforcing boundaries leads to self-confidence, self-care, and healthy relationships. Comment below to let us know what some of the boundaries are that you have set or would like to set. Knowing how to set and enforce healthy boundaries is actually a big part of self-care and important to building and maintaining healthy relationships with others. Setting boundaries starts with knowing how to stand up for yourself, knowing what your standards are. This actually helps guide people as to how they should treat you, because your boundaries will let them know what you will or will not tolerate. People treat us the way we treat ourselves. So if we do not love ourselves, we don't respect ourselves or stand up for ourselves, unfortunately we will attract into our life people who will do the same, allowing people to mistreat, hurt, or take advantage of us. When we really love ourselves, we show people how to treat us by our loving, confident, and self-assertive attitude, as well as our positive mindset and empowering self-talk. This way of being makes all areas of our lives also better and happier, enabling us to thrive in whatever it is we are working on achieving in our lives. So, if you are still wondering if it's important to set boundaries, let's look at it this way. Each day, your life is unfolding, and its quality is shaped by what you are saying yes to or no to at every moment. If you are setting healthy boundaries and practicing self-care, you will reap its good benefits, as will not setting and enforcing boundaries. If you are a people pleaser, don't like to say no because of fear of a negative consequence, a confrontation, or due to codependence. If you don't stand up for yourself and let people manipulate you, call you names, put you down, play games with you, basically take advantage and manipulate you, then it is time to assert yourself by setting boundaries of what is respectful and disrespectful behavior. Most of us did not learn how to or are even aware that we need to set boundaries for healthy relationships. I remember a period in my life when a relative of mine and I would get on each other's nerves and quarrel to the point of tears. And I just couldn't understand why this kept happening. I loved this relative, but in the heat of things, that is not what came out. I was clueless to the fact that this situation kept happening due to the lack of boundaries. Through personal development, I learned about setting boundaries and realized that this is how I could avoid all the reacting and hurt by checking my own behavior through having and enforcing my boundaries. You see, boundaries are not necessarily about the other person's behavior, but yours. You can't control others, so you've got to let go of that illusion. You can't control what other people think, feel, or do, can you? So it is best to focus on becoming aware and controlling your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and results. This also means that friends, family, and colleagues who are not willing to respect your boundaries or what is required for your self-care show you who your true friends and family are and where your support system lies. And those who drop out of your life, unfortunately, will have to drop out. But so will their bad behavior, or their drama, and the negative feelings that come with it. What helped me most is that I had to learn to love myself and my peace of mind more. I believe you can also come to that realization. A benefit of letting go is that it allows you space to live a healthier, happier, mentally freer life. And this makes it easier to attract the kind of relationships and friendships that will support you. How do we go about setting these boundaries? The first thing to setting boundaries is to determine what your standards are. You need to be clear on the kind of people you'd like to surround yourself with. As I said in my previous video to recent grads, I used to become friends with whoever came into my life, mainly out of proximity, because they were in my class, they were my roommates, or we worked together. As much as possible, you must be selective of the company you keep, and you must also be selective of the boundaries you set. Ideally, they should be on the non-negotiable big things, deal breakers, things that you will not compromise on, so that they do not start to sound like complaints or being thin-skinned because you are reacting to every little thing. For example, you might decide that a friend is someone who should be trustworthy, supportive, respectful, not a backstabber or a gossip. A romantic partner should be kind, honest, and emotionally available. And the key here is that you have to know what these qualities actually look like. What is respectful or disrespectful for you? Because if you are not clear on the difference, then you will not be able to determine when a friend or partner crosses the line from respect to disrespect. Or it will take you a while to notice it, and more damage would have been caused in the meantime. So you need to determine what your standards are in order to set your boundaries and know when someone is crossing the line. You don't need to go around telling everybody what your boundaries are, no. But when you notice that a boundary is being crossed or violated, you make that person aware in a way that they can hear you of what your boundary is. Clearly explain to them how you will act if the negative behavior continues and your boundary is broken. At a time when a conversation about your boundaries will be received well, you can say to your friend, Maya, remember when you said you would not use abusive language with me when we disagree? Please know that I cannot continue to be friends with you when you insist on disrespecting me this way. For example, if this is the first time such behavior is coming up and the person does not know about your boundary, you can start with, you probably don't know you're doing this, but could you please not use abusive language when we disagree on an issue? I find it very disrespectful and cannot continue to be friends otherwise. The next thing is to act instead of react when your boundary is broken. And this requires emotional control. You can react with anger, one mansion, I'm going to show you, blaming, shouting, even threatening. This all comes from a place of fear. But it helps to remember to not take it personal, because the other person's behavior is really not about you, but their own issues they may be projecting in your direction. So you can choose to act calmly instead of reacting. When we react, we often think it's about what the other person did or didn't do, said or didn't say, but mostly it's about our own hurt ego. When you act instead, this is all on you and the positive result you actually want. I tell you, this understanding has impacted my life. My kids will tell you they love mommy when she's owning her actions and acting calmly way more than when she's angry and reacting to what they've done. When someone violates your boundary, you can act calmly and say something like, what you said or did is unacceptable and I will not tolerate it. You see, when you're self-confident, calm, caring, and loving to yourself, you build a calm assurance, and this allows you to act. from this more useful mental state. You don't come down to a negative level, and you are more effective at setting and maintaining the boundary with the violator. Once people start seeing this from you, most will actually start respecting you because they know you will hold your ground. The third thing is what to do if a boundary continues to get violated. You have to enforce it by calmly reminding the offender of what is acceptable and unacceptable. You unfortunately have to be prepared to cut out those friends and family who are not willing to respect your boundaries, because this is about your self-care. If you don't, they'll continue to cross the boundary line and not see you as serious. And soon, the boundary becomes blurred and crumbles. Then it becomes really hard to reset that boundary, and any other boundaries with that person will lose credibility as well. So you have to stand firm. Finally, be prepared for the backlash. When someone has gotten their way, especially for a long time, they feel entitled and will most likely react negatively to you setting a boundary. So be prepared for the backlash from that name-calling friend or child who likes to push your boundaries to see how much they can get away with. It can be difficult to deal with the backlash of setting boundaries, but be willing for people to drop out of your life by standing your ground. But you've got to stand your ground, especially if this is the first time you are setting boundaries. So don't feel guilty about setting a boundary or not allowing yourself to be manipulated back to the old you and accept unacceptable behavior that is actually unloving to you and damages your self-confidence and self-esteem. Do not take on that baggage. If you need a quick tip on the best way to set a particular boundary, do leave a comment. So that's it on Setting Boundaries, champions. Thank you for joining me this week. And if you found the information useful, do like this video and share it with someone who it will benefit. Make sure to also subscribe and hit that notification bell if you've not done so already.